We do that, I can assure you the prices of goods and services will come down. That's the first one. The second issue, also other government departments and ministries, I've mentioned the Ministry of Gender. We have discussed with our corporate partners to increase cash transfer. Those that we normally give to those that are in need. We have agreed to increase the number of beneficiaries. We have also agreed in terms of the amount they give to each beneficiary. I think the ministry will be announcing that because we have almost concluded on the cash transfer. In addition to that, we also make sure that we give, we'll make sure through NIF, I don't know whether we'll call it NIF or call it MADEF, that's a different subject matter, but we also want to give more loans. In addition to that, we also want to push interest rates down. So that people are able to borrow not only from NIF and also from microfinance institutions, even from the banks. Because by doing so, it means now institutions, microfinance, small and medium enterprises, companies will start now borrowing at lower rate.
On her part, Minister of Energy and Mining Jean Matanga said the abandonment of the automatic pricing mechanism was a bad call for the previous administration as it resulted in substantial trading losses for fuel importers, limiting their ability to import sufficient quantities of fuel to meet the national demand and remit levies such as road levy and rural electrification levy, among others.
Now, the use of APM will eliminate or reduce borrowing requirements, freeing up government funds for other priority activities. Now, in addition, the move towards cost-reflective prices aligns with conditions and policy recommendations from the international partners, and which can facilitate negotiations, obviously, for new programs. In the long term, the government is fulfilling its manifesto, and in doing that, they will implement the National Transport Master Plan, because we realize that current heavy price reliance on the road transport has resulted in high logistical costs and huge demand on fuels.
Taking his stand, Minister of Transport and Public Infrastructure, Japi Muhango, said whilst painful, the fuel hike is a solution to maintain roads that are currently in poor condition. He added that the hike will allow proper remittance of levies collected from fuel sales, which are essential for funding critical projects such as road maintenance. Earlier this week, the Malawi Regulatory Authority MERA revised pump prices for fuel. Petrol increased by 41.90% from 3,499 kwacha to 4,965 kwacha, while diesel increased by 41.29% from 3,500 kwacha to 4,945 kwacha. Mwaim Tumodzi, MBC, Lilongwe.
Meanwhile, the Consumers Association of Malawi, KAMA, says the recent fuel price hike seems huge because for the past years the government was not increasing the prices when it was supposed to. KAMA Executive Director John Kabiro said this on Thursday at a press briefing in Blantyre. He said for the past years the government capped the price instead of increasing it gradually so that the impact should not be huge.
The way people doctored the 5% band into the pricing of fuel, they knew that if a price goes up by 5% and you introduce a 5% increase on the price of fuel, it will not trigger much. Some businesses will say simply, I can ignore that. But then we allowed for 3 years that to happen. And I know that for 3 years, without you selling your fuel at the right price, meant that at one day, now today, that wound has just burst and you can't even repair it. So government is the one that was sitting in to say that don't increase because of political issues. Then they frustrated even the procurement. We had certain imports that were coming in at a make exaggerated price. Everybody was just free to do whatever they would do as long as it goes to the market. But we must all understand, and even inform consumers out there, that fuel in Malawi is not owned by government. It's owned by the private sector.
Kabiro has also warned business people not to take advantage of the situation to increase commodity prices unreasonably.
Unscrupulous traders, remember, if you don't know how much this fuel contributes to your prices, then we will let you know. Because you cannot load everything that has been added on the price of fuel to your products and goods and services. There's a small percentage that you should increase your products with or your services with. Then we will find you. We will be monitoring the market in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, with you, the media, to make sure that the market is clean and the people are not as unscrupulous as they have always been. We don't want people that will take advantage of the poor. It's because of fuel.
Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization has commenced the large-scale disbursement of gratuities to retired civil servants this month. The ministry says the move follows Parliament's approval of an additional 186 billion kwacha in the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review presented by Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka. A statement issued by Secretary to the Treasury Cliff Chunda says that the disbursement is being conducted transparently on a first-come, first-served basis and aims to reduce the waiting period for patient gratuities from 36 months to less than 12 months by March 2026, with the prospects of further reducing it to 3 months. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture says the government is concerned with exorbitant prices of seed at the market. Minister of Agriculture Rosa Mbirizi made the remarks in Lilongwe at the annual general meeting of the National Smallholder Farmers Association of Malawi, NASFAM. Mbirizi said to counter the problem, the government intends to start producing cheaper seed to help smallholder farmers who cannot afford the current prices. Isaac Jari has a report.
At the 29th NASFAM annual general meeting, Minister of Agriculture Rosa Mbirizi disclosed that the ministry is negotiating with seed manufacturing companies to consider reducing prices of seed. Mbirizi observed that in the current farming season, exorbitant seed prices forced some smallholder farmers to use uncertified seed. As a long-term solution, Mbirizi disclosed that the ministry intends to start producing seed which will be sold at a cheaper price to smallholder farmers.
Yes, firstly on seed. Seed is very expensive in this country and we are very concerned as a government, and the President has directed the Minister of Agriculture to make sure that we produce our own seed as a ministry, and of course we will use the private sector to produce the seed so that it becomes cheaper for our farmers, because a smallholder farmer cannot afford the price of seed now.
Commenting on fertilizer, Mbirizi said the ministry is encouraging the use of organic fertilizers such as mbeya for high yields. She also encouraged farmers in the country to form cooperatives or clubs, saying the reformed Farm Input Subsidy Program will prioritize farmer clubs above all.
Yes, that is clearly stipulated in our manifesto, that we want to make sure that FISIP does not only cater for maize production but for other crops as well. So you can see even in this year we included other cereals. The farmer had a choice to choose which cereal they want to buy under FISP. So this year we will include legumes, and as I said, we are intending to grow seed this winter for next season, and that seed will include legumes as well.
The Agriculture Minister also underscored the need for Malawi to transition into mechanization, saying facilities such as the Constituency Development Fund CDF can help purchase of equipment such as tractors at constituency level to boost productivity. Bete Chinyamunyamu is Chief Executive Officer at NASFAM and appeals to government to diversify Farm Input Subsidy Program to other crops such as legumes to ensure that the facility helps to generate forex.
The FISP is using forex, but it is supporting commodities that do not bring forex, because the maize that is produced under FISP is mostly consumed domestically. So our call is that much as it's important to support maize production, but we should also consider forex generation, that some of the FISP resources should be allocated to commodities that will bring forex, because we cannot keep consuming forex and not generating more.
NASFAM is a farmer-governed organization whose membership is organized through 52 associations across Malawi. The organization helps smallholder farmers in agro-processing or value addition and market access. Isaac Jali, MBC, Lilongwe.
In a related development, Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Toko Tembo, says supporting farmers with modern agricultural equipment and infrastructure marks a decisive shift in government's efforts to transform Malawi's agriculture from subsistence to commercial production. Tembo made the remarks in Balaka district when he handed over a tractor and its accessories to Kapesa Farmers Cooperative under the World Bank-funded Agricultural Commercialization AGCOM 2 project. We have a report.
Speaking after handing over the tractor, warehouse and motorcycles to ease mobility challenges among agricultural extension workers, Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Toko Tembo, said investing in agricultural commercialization and mechanization remains President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's priority in ensuring increased productivity. Tembo said the mechanization and infrastructure support are not just assets, but critical tools to boosting productivity, reducing post-harvest losses, and strengthening farmers' participation in formal markets. The Deputy Minister said if the country can produce more, it will be able to improve on exports to realize more forex.
The ministry is concentrating and making sure that we work with our cooperatives, making sure that we reach out to the whole country from Sanje to Chitipa, working with farmers so that they can get the best output. Because if we have a lot of output from the farmers, then it is also possible for us to have a big output for our exports. So that way we do get a lot more exports. So this is something that we're definitely working on.
AGCOM National Coordinator Ted Nakumwa said the program has so far supported more than 264 productive alliances with approximately 19 billion kwacha dispersed in matching grants.
We've reached out to, so far, the ones that are already implementing as 264 productive alliances. But we have also a good pipeline. We are still having to review others in the next 2 weeks. AGCOM 2 now has added 2 windows. The first window is the one that you're still doing primary production, as in AGCOM 1. But we've now, window 2, introduced also to do value addition, targeting the groups that we were dealing with in AGCOM 1.
Chairperson for Mute Rice Producers and Marketing Cooperative Hastings Chibwezo explains the impact of AGCOM's support towards the cooperative's growth. Toko Tembo also toured Chinkwamba Goat Producers and Marketing Cooperative in Traditional Authority Kapalamula in the district. The cooperative received 156 million kwacha from AGCOM, which they used to purchase goats and construct other facilities at the cooperative. Doreen Sonani, MBC News, Balaka.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories this morning. Government lays out strategies to cushion Malawians amidst the impact of the recent upward adjustment of fuel prices. The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, appeals for additional funding to support communities affected by natural disasters. Government calls on the Malawi Gaming and Lotteries Authority, MAGLA, to strengthen regulations and protecting children from betting and gambling. Moving on, the Minister of Lands, Chimwemwe Chibungu, has condemned land grabbers for vandalizing a building and cutting down indigenous trees in a compound that formerly served as offices and residence of the Egyptian ambassador to Malawi. Chibungu was speaking in Lilongwe Area 10 residential area after touring the compound. He has since warned that his ministry will engage the Ministry of Homeland Security to identify and bring to book the land grabbers. From Lilongwe, Charles Wahara reports.
Minister of Lands and Housing, Chimwemwe Chipungu, was accompanied by top officials from the Ministry of Lands and Egyptian ambassador to Malawi, Rasha Hamdi, and other top officials from the embassy. The unannounced trip followed a complaint from the Egyptian embassy that unknown land grabbers vandalized the structure belonging to the Egyptian embassy, where they have cut down trees and are working on putting the property on the market. Signs of comprehensive damage and vulnerability of the compound were very visible as Chipungu and the rest of the team tried to come to terms with the damage. Talking to journalists after the tour, Chipungu condemned the land grabbers, saying they lack responsibility and civility. Chipungu warned that the land grabbers will not go scot-free, as his ministry has referred the matter to Homeland Security to bring the suspects to book.
We came this morning after we got a complaint yesterday from the Egyptian embassy that this land that you are actually seeing today has been vandalized by people that claim that this place is theirs. Now, after seeing the gravity of the issue, we plan to come this morning with the embassy and members of the Ministry of Land to check what is happening on this place. And as you can see, the place has been vandalized by illegal grabbers, I should say grabbers. And also the house that was used as an embassy before has been actually taken by those people that claim that this place is theirs. My response will be, we have seen the rightful owners of this place through documentation that has been shown to us by the ambassador, and will take action by trying to find who are the people that are claiming that this land is theirs.
Commenting on the damage, Egyptian ambassador to Malawi, Rasha Hamdi, said the land grabbers have cut down expensive trees apart from vandalizing the structure. Hamdi added that they have not yet done assessment to determine the value of the loss. The ambassador was quick to commend the minister for the intervention.
We are here in our old building for offices, our old embassy. It was in this place. It was a beautiful place before. However, 1 week ago, we were informed by the neighbors that somebody came here, cut all the trees. There were a lot of mango trees and banana trees here. They were all cut, and he removed the roof of this building, stole all the windows, and he removed the gate of our gate, and he put his own gate here, and he removed the small gate there, and he built a wall instead of it. So we are very much worried about this. We came, we put our own guard, and we contacted the VIP police. They were so helpful, and they came with us and checked the place. And they say that they are making a tour every night by the police to check the place. The Minister of Land, he came with us here to check the place, and he was very much helpful, and he took the matter very seriously to check what is happening here in our property.
According to documents of ownership which MBC has seen, the Egyptian government acquired the land in 1982. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs is appealing for a 4 billion kwacha additional funding to support communities affected by natural disasters in Nkhotakota district. Commissioner for Dotma, Wilson Moleni, says the department has so far mobilized 4.6 billion kwacha out of the initial 8.6 billion kwacha, which is required under its emergency response plan. Moleni has since issued an appeal to the international donor community, non-governmental organizations, and other well-wishers to contribute towards closing the funding gap and bolster disaster response efforts. Jibiriro Kamola is spokesperson for Dotma.
Strong winds, stormy rains, flash floods, and lightning have affected 36,283 households. This is approximately 163,274 people since the onset of the rainy season. Sadly, we have recorded 40 deaths and 209 injuries. Out of the 40 recorded deaths, 23 have been caused by lightning strikes, while 17 have been caused by collapsing walls. As part of early recovery interventions, we have been decommissioning camps largely set in Nkhotakota following devastating flash floods that occurred in December 2025. We had 14 camps in Nkhotakota following the floods, and as of now, we only have one camp. We have been providing a return home package comprising maize, beans, blankets, plastic sheets, pails, and salt to the displaced as part of the decommissioning program. We have also developed 8.6 billion kwacha worth Nkota Water Floods Emergency Response Plan, which aims to restore basic services, prevent secondary disaster impacts, and initiate early recovery. Currently, the department has mobilized 4.6 billion kwacha, leaving a resource gap of 4 billion kwacha. So we are calling upon the international donor community, United Nations agencies, foreign missions, non-governmental organizations, the private sector, the clergy, and all individuals of goodwill to support this noble cause.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri has expressed concern of a failure to generate local revenue at Mangochi District Council despite having the potential to surpass revenue targets. The minister made the remarks in Mangochi District during an interface with council members. Owen Mavula with the report.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Dr. Ben Piri continues to engage local councils as part of his vision to enhance effective service delivery. In Mangochi, the minister held an interface with council members and different stakeholders for Mangochi District Council, where he shared with them the vision of his ministry in fostering development at community and district level. During the meeting, the minister first commended Mangochi District Council for making strides in areas of infrastructure development, but expressed concern over the council's under-collection of revenue.
To begin with, the reason Malawians vote for a government is they are looking at service delivery. They're looking at social services. They're looking at everything that goes around. And the president cannot do it alone at Sanjika. That responsibility has been now taken down to local authorities. Now, when you fail as a council, it reflects on the president. And that is why it is very important for council to enhance their service delivery as charged by all pieces of registration.
According to available information, the council is generating about 200 million kwacha in local revenue per financial year against a reported target of about 1 billion kwacha. Apart from the district council, the Minister of Local Government also engaged members of Mangochi Town Assembly and emphasized the need for improvement in service delivery to motivate the public to pay taxes. During the interaction, Dr. Ben Piri also warned council employees against corruption and laxity, a warning which has been welcomed by different stakeholders, including the Islamic Research Care and Support.
There are a number of people who have been suffering in silence due to a lazy attitude of some staff towards work at the council. Issues of corruption as well as business as usual approach among the workers. The warning is timely, and we believe we will see change for the betterment of the councils.
Meanwhile, the two councils have committed to scaling up efforts aimed at improving service delivery and local revenue collection. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
In business news, the Minister of Trade, Business and Tourism, George Partridge, has called on the Malawi Gaming and Lotteries Authority, MAGRA, to strengthen regulations on protecting children from the exposure to betting and gambling. The minister made the call when he held a meeting with officials from MAGRA as part of his familiarization tour. More in this report.
Over the past 2 years, the country has registered a rise in the number of betting companies whose business rides on sports. The development has seen widespread betting and gambling, allegedly including children under the age of 18.
Okay, well, first of all, it was to familiarize ourselves with the operations of MAGRA here, but also to hear what their plans are, what their problems are, and what their challenges are. So we had an opportunity to discuss quite a lot about all those things. Okay, one of the major challenges, of course, as a regulator of gambling is the fact that there are some negative effects of gambling on society and on children as well. And we wanted to know what it is that they are doing to do that, to make sure that they minimize the negative effects of gambling. The other issue was the challenges that they are facing in terms of office space.
While acknowledging some challenges that affect their operations, inspections and enforcement, Director General of MAGLA, Rachel Mijiga, said they will be scaling up sensitization this coming financial year.
I think it's very important for me to say sincere gratitude to the Honourable Minister of Industry, Business, Trade and Tourism, Dr. George Partridge, for visiting us at the Malawi Gaming and Lotteries Authority this morning. He has shared deep insights, deep wisdom and great insights on how we can take the industry forward. Some of the issues that we discussed with him is how do we grow the industry, looking at issues of responsible gambling. We are also going to partner with a couple of agents on responsible gambling. We need to start having serious debates with parents, with guardians, as well as schools, principals of schools, on how we protect our youth, because as you remember, the law requires that anyone who is 18 and below are not supposed to participate in gambling. So we've got new programs.
Gaming has become a fast and growing business globally, especially supported by major sports leagues in Europe and other Western nations. Elin Chimoyo, NBC News, Blantyre.
And that's it from our newsroom, a recap of our top stories before we leave. Government lays out strategies to cushion Malawians amidst the impact of the recent upward adjustment of fuel prices. The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, appeals for additional funding to support communities affected by natural disasters. Government calls on the Malawi Gaming and Lotteries Authority, MAGLA, to strengthen regulations and protecting children from betting and gambling. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You were with me, Ramio Omari. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Sabara ino mu program ya Woman Talk.
Masiku ano azimaife akuti tatayirira makomomo. Chili chonse ndanaphisa. Anapi.
Even tovaladzo tikaye tovaladzo koshali pala mabanti masokosi hayi.
Wanchiro gati mampatsa ndalama kuti adzigwira ntchitoyo. Iweyo ngomphunzitsa zimene ukufuna kuti adzipanga.
Koma naku mbali ya usamala abambo ndi ntchito yanga ndi udindo wanga.
Azimayi tomatayirira mwafika ponena ona kuti naphiri kumamuza mavuto a nyumba.
Mama wandimapita kukaunjika uko kutsoka market kugulisa kaunjika ndatopa ndabwera ndi